What's up, innovators? I'm Robert Nichols with Robert Nichols Companies, and today I had the luxury of interviewing a first-time flipper who's 22 years old. He did his first flip with no money down, and he made 5 figures, guys. In this interview, he shares his process step by step so that you can apply it to your business. And before we get to the interview, please hit the like button below, as it really helps grow the channel and allows me to continue to provide free content to help you grow your business and transform your life. Now let's get into the interview. This is one you're not going to want to miss.
If you don't mind me asking, and if you don't mind sharing, Noah, how old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
Woo! Man, I love it. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Flippers Playbook. I'm your host, Rob Nichols of Rob Nichols Companies, and I'm here with Noah Jackson. So Noah, man, I just want to share a little bit about what we've done and what we worked on together. You got your first flip done. I'm super excited for you, and I think you have a very bright future ahead. You want to kind of tell folks how you got started, where you're from, and just give us a little bit of your background.
Yeah, 100%. Thanks for having me. I'm glad to be here. So I grew up in Marshfield, Mass. I was fortunate to live in a few different states too before that, but majorly grew up right there south of Boston, and just recently got started in real estate with this first flip that thanks to you were able to fund it. So I was able to close that out, and that's where I got my feet wet in this first little flip.
Excellent, man. How long did it take you to do the project from start to finish?
So I was able to get it done in about 4 months, and then an extra month took to close. So from the time we got it financed to the time I got my check was about 5 months.
Love it, man. You were moving. Because like I said, one of the key things I want to point out here is I work with a lot of first timers, and usually minimum you're going to see them kind of take to do a deal is about 6 months. Yeah. And then from there, now they're waiting to sell. So all in about 8 months. So like you basically did it in half the time. So like, yeah. I think that's super important. And I really want to recognize you for that, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah. And this was a full gut too. So took it down to the studs at most of the spots and pretty much redid everything I could.
Yeah, no, I'm an experienced flipper myself. And the fastest full gut I ever did was exactly the same amount of time as you. So I don't know if you really can get it done any quicker, man. But if you can, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing, the efficiency there.
It was a grind. There were a lot of late nights and long weekends.
Yeah, that brings me to my next question. So are you a full-time real estate investor? Are you doing it on the side? And if so, definitely tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this is just a side gig for me for now. Real estate, and I also have a small construction company on the side where I do like residential site work and excavation. But my full-time job is I'm a project engineer for a heavy civil site work company. That's the day job. So that's what I do during the day. And then this project, I was lucky enough to find this flip really close to one of my projects. So every day after work, I'd hit Home Depot and then drive over to this place and stay there till about midnight. And then all my weekends this summer were pretty much grinding on the house.
I love it, man. I mean, I think that's telling, right? Like a lot of folks who get into the industry, they fall in love with the glamour and what's happening on the surface. So you actually did a lot of the work yourself on the project?
Yeah, that's the biggest point I like to make is like, not just, not for me, but I think it's important when you're starting to do the work yourself so that, because my plan long term is to do some like larger scale syndications, and you can't do those, or, you're going to be better off if you've done the work yourself and learned from the bottom, I'd say. So you can see what those people are doing and actually understand what they're doing.
I love it, man. That's exactly how I started, Noah. My very first property I bought in Taunton. And I'll be honest, I couldn't afford to have people do it. It was a buy and hold 2-family. I couldn't afford to hire guys. So guess what?
Yeah,
I was the guy doing all the work. I had Section 8 tenants in there. Stuff would come up, changing the faucets, installing, windows that needed to be replaced, and patching and painting walls, and handrails, the whole nine, man. But no, that's real. I mean, I think, especially when you first start, there's no better way to learn than to be very active and involved daily. Did you have some help as well?
I was able to. The hardest part was so I travel for work. Like I said, I'm from south of Boston, and this project was in Attleboro. So I was working in Pawtucket. I live out of hotels for work, so I was in Pawtucket. I really didn't know many people around there, so I didn't have a lot of contacts for help. But I had some friends that were gracious enough to come and help me. And I hired a couple contractors to do like the electrical work and the plumbing. It was kind of tough finding good contractors to do that in an area I didn't know, but besides that, I pretty much did all the work on my own at nights.
Nice, man. How'd you find those guys? Was it word of mouth or Google?
Yeah, word of mouth, and I joined a couple like meetup groups for Rhode Island. investor meetup groups and Boston meetup groups with other investors and contractors, and then just kind of worked my network that way and kept trying to expand my network and find people that I could trust. That was the hardest part.
No, man, that's great advice. I mean, I think the easiest way to find great people is through the network, right? Google's
100%.
only one thing, right? And people on there, they may have done well for others, but there's really no relationship. And
Yep.
so when you go through folks who've had a good experience, not only are they working to prove it to you, but they don't want to let that other person down who they've already made money with. So great point, man. The meetups sound like they were a key to
Oh
that,
yeah,
man.
that's really, and that gave me the confidence too, because I was going to monthly meetups, being able to talk to people about how I was doing, what I was doing. People were giving me that confidence when I was, struggling, when it was getting really tough, or when I was like didn't know if I had the energy to keep doing it. Uh, they told me I'd get through it. So finding the right network and good people was huge.
Beautiful, man. And that brings me to another question in relation to finding things. How'd you find this deal?
Yeah, so same group, or one of the groups I've been going to, Rhode Island Real Estate Investors Group. I met up with a wholesaler, Moss Home Solutions, who Beth and CJ Moss are awesome people. They wholesale a bunch of deals out of Rhode Island and Massachusetts. They're good wholesalers, even better people, and they listed this. I got an email chain. I had 15 minutes, 20 minutes to walk through the place and put my bid in, and then texted me the next day and said I got it. So then it was just the
Beautiful.
rush of moving forward with that.
Yep, cool, man. And then obviously the financing, we helped you get it funded through my team and I at Crowd Lending. How did you raise the money for the down payment? Did you syndicate it through investors? Was it money you had
Yep.
saved?
Yeah, so it was actually an extremely small syndication to get that 15% down.
Hey,
I
it's all good.
I found one investor who trusted me. Um,
Yep.
and I'm fortunate enough now that he's gone through this one deal with me, and now he's coming back saying he wants to invest more. So him and his friends want to. So it's hopefully I can continue to snowball this into larger scale syndications.
No, absolutely no. And you earned that, man. I got to give you credit. You earned it. A lot of folks think it's easy. You're going around just asking, oh, yeah, people invest. And a lot of folks get burned on that side of it as
Yeah.
investors. But when folks can get in, perform, and everyone's getting paid in the end, it's a win win. It just kind of builds the trust and just makes it easier and easier to access capital to where some of these guys who do these larger hotel projects and office towers literally have no money in the deal, but they've
Yeah.
built such a track record up over decades that people trust them. They know
Yeah.
they can get it done, man. They can execute.
I'd love to hear too how people syndicate these, because for me to build some credibility, I locked in with my investor that he was guaranteed a certain minimum return on his investment. That was locked in his contract, so there was really no risk to him. The way the contract was set up was if I failed, I still owed him money. So that's something where I would be interested to see how other people set their syndications up.
No, great point. I mean, I think for the most part, everybody has it set up where, yeah, there is a minimum return that you pay to the investor. Like my first deal, same thing. I borrowed the money from my ex-girlfriend's dad. Like
Yep.
he was my first investor ever who
Yeah.
invested in me. And then like it's a very small amount. My dad kicked in a couple bucks. I didn't come from a family with a ton of money, so
Yeah.
he kicked in what he could. But that's how I got started. And I think
Oh, yeah.
the key is being willing to ask, right? And being diligent and making sure you have a solid plan and a great team. So, quick question, Noah, in relation to what you learned here. Is there anything that was a surprise for you on this project? Any challenges you didn't foresee that you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say the biggest challenge really goes back to being in that unfamiliar area,
Mm.
and trying to find people to help if you needed that help. So what I would say is, if you're gonna get involved in an area you don't know, try to learn as much about that area as you can. Reach out in advance. I kind of was scrambling once I got this deal. I got the deal, and then I found out I needed to have an LLC to be able to buy the place. So then I had to get an LLC, and to get an LLC, like you needed insurance. So then I had to get insurance. And I don't think we touched on this yet, but to credit to you, Rob was able to close me in 4 days because my previous lender um, bailed on me 4 days before closing, because they forgot to mention that I needed to be worth $250,000 for them to lend to me. So
Oh man, that was
yes,
crazy, man. I'm glad we were able to get that
yeah,
done for you, Noah. Yeah, it's like, we're straight shooters. What we say is what we do, and we really want to lend to guys like yourself who are out here grinding, hustling, and putting in the work to get things done, man. So
yeah.
no,
So that
I,
was probably the biggest challenge. I mean, that week was stressful. I know I was on the phone with you at like 10 p.m. at night, and we were just grinding it out. I was on the phone with my insurance agent late nights, like getting it done. And you were able to close on time, which was huge. So, something like that, you never know that's going to come up. So
That's
just
right.
being able to handle it and deal with it, I think that was a big learning curve.
Absolutely. No, thank you for the opportunity, man, for my team and I at Crowd to work with you, Crowd Lending, man. We get it done. And it's a testament to our team. We always tell folks if we need to close faster, we can. And I'll be honest, Noah, that's the fastest loan we ever closed.
Yeah,
so I'm glad we were able to
hopefully I won't have to do that to you again.
Yeah. It's all good, man. We'll figure it out. Sounds good, man. Well, is there anything else you think you wish you had known before you jumped into this project? You kind of touched on that stuff, already.
Yeah, pretty much. I would just tell like anyone, a lot of things I'd say is like make sure you know your numbers 100%. Like there's so many people I cringe when I watch videos on Instagram where people are saying, they'll just tell you the purchase price, the rehab cost, and then their sale price and act like they made this big number, but they're not talking about attorney fees. They're not talking about, return that they have to pay to their investors. They're not talking about any of that. They're not talking about holding costs. They're not talking about like the prediction of if the market's going to come down. So you got to be careful and you got to make sure you know your numbers, what you're going to put into it, and then stick to the budget you set.
Absolutely, man. No, I agree. And the other big thing is taxes. You got to pay those taxes too, man. And nobody's talking about that when it comes to flipping. I learned early on, like, wait a minute, I made 50 grand and I got to pay back how much? 20,000 of it, 15,000 of it. It's crazy, but definitely having a good accountant will help offset some of that if they're able to itemize different deductions and really work with you there. So
100%.
Yep.
Just knowing your numbers. And if you don't know your numbers, reach out to someone, get quotes from subs, like talk to people in the industry. They'll tell you, they'll give you a rough idea.
Absolutely, man. All right. What's the future look like for Noah Jackson in real estate? What's the next move?
Well, I'd say I don't want to predict the market or give any forecasts because I'm not an economist, but I think I'm going to try to look into maybe doing some new construction as opposed to a fix and flip right now. I think it's going to be hard to find a deal with the interest rates. And, with my experience in the construction industry, if I can find the right property at the right value, I think there's still a need for first-time home buyers to get into properties. And if I could build something, like I said, the numbers have got to work, but that's kind of where I'm looking at, build some value and a piece of property that I could put a single family home on.
Yeah, no, great concept, Noah. Right now, I tell my team all the time, what we're seeing is single families and two families, owner occupied, are moving. 3 families and multis are kind of sitting because values just really need to adjust. And then the condos, there's just so many of them out there that they're really not moving, man. So no, you're right on. You're on the money. I mean, if you're building single families and again, short inventory on single families as well, we have really low inventory. So you'll be able to move them, man, in any market as long as you run your pro forma, run your numbers, and all
the numbers. As long as the numbers work, I'm confident that a first-time home buyer type home would sell.
Right. Good stuff. And if you don't mind me asking, and if you don't mind sharing, Noah, how old are you?
I'm 22 years old.
Woo, man, I love it. Youngest flipper I've helped as well, man. So this is great, man. This is great. Setting records,
so if anyone else is interested too in reaching out, I'd love to. I love talking real estate. So if anyone's interested in reaching out, and
what's the best way for folks to connect with you?
They can just reach out to me on Instagram. It's at ndjackson28. Or if they want to email my business page, it's njacksonconsulting@gmail.com. Excellent.
I'll make sure there's some links below or some something mentioned here in the video so folks can reach out, man, and make sure they have the right info. But Noah, again, want to recognize you for really kind of setting the trend here for the younger generation, man, and really just making sure you're putting in the work and doing what you got to do to be successful out here. I have no doubt you'll be successful in the future as you already are, and it's only going to get better for you, man, as long as you keep leveling up and keeping an open mind and learning and doing what you're doing, man. Very proud of you. And I wish you the best, and hopefully I can work with you on the next project, man.
Yeah, 100%. Look forward to working with you.
Excellent, man. Well, thanks for your time, Noah. Really appreciate this, man. Good luck on the next venture.
Thanks, appreciate it.
What's up, innovators? I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Noah Jackson. As you can see, he shares some gems that I hope experienced investors and new beginners can apply to their businesses alike. You've always got to be learning and investing in yourself to level up. If you're feeling what I'm putting down, guys, again, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. I got plenty of content that I put out here daily, whether it's on shorts or some of these videos. And definitely click on the links below for resources to help you grow your business as you're on your real estate journey. Thanks again, and stay tuned for more.